So let's talk about perfection, since you talked about it. Would you?
Hello.
And let me introduce Elaine, a perfectionist recoverer.
I didn't put pictures up because I can't find the perfect combination and way. I've got 20 million pictures framed that I want to put up. I don't put any of them up because I'll just try them out and I'll hold them up and I'm like, well, maybe this one, maybe this one, maybe this one. Yeah. And then I just end up putting them all away.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So why don't you talk a little bit about perfection?
Because likewise, I had, like with the dishwasher, it's interesting that you said that because Steve, when he does stack the dishwasher, I'm very organized likewise. The plates have to be in order because to get the most efficiency out of that cycle of the dishwasher.
And you can't mix the little plates in with the big ones. They have to
and dishwashers are designed for that. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, but and I would get like, Steve, you did it wrong, right? Because there's one way to do it. And that would create angst in me. I would just literally start, why just don't even bother doing it. I'll just do it, right? Because I know how to do it the right way. The same result was, guess what? The dishes were still clean. There was no difference in the outcome of the end product. Was those dishes were spotless. It just came from a different path of organizing the dishes. And when we emptied the dishwasher, they still got into the cupboard fine and clean. Once I realized that shift, I was like, why am I reorganizing the dishwasher? Why am I getting anxious over the way he did it when the outcome was the same? But I created all this. What released me from it was I still got what I wanted. Clean dishes.
So the outcome without the
anxiety.
Yeah.
Because where did the anxiety come from?
Right here.
Yeah.
She's
right
creating
here.
it.
Me.
Well, and I'm creating it in the kids at school because they now know, don't mess with those light switches. The only way I mean, they'll even come in if I haven't had a chance to fix them, and they come in and the light switches, they're not in the right place, Miss Adelie, we have to fix them.
Right.
Like,
so now you're passing on the OCD to the kids.
Exactly. And it's like, no, that's not the way the books have to be put back. The books go this way. Right. And I mean, I have everything labeled and I have...
So you realize that it's a time sucker out of your day, and it creates angst when you could be doing something more productive with your time. Once you start to realize these things, at least for me, this is what happened. I just let it go. I was like, okay, it's okay. It's okay that it wasn't organized perfectly and I didn't have yours kind of develop that. Well, do you have that likewise?
Well,
I'm not good enough?
Mine was, yes, but mine was very similar because I remember one thing that really sticks out is I came home and it was one of my tougher classes. Like I was staying after and working with the teacher. I mean, it was just one of those really tough ones that I just couldn't wrap my head around. Right. And I came home with one of the tests and I'd gotten a 98 on it. And my dad was like, 98, you could have gotten 100.
Woo! Sounds familiar.
Yeah. And when I finally confronted him about some of it, when I was looking through some old family papers and I found some of his report cards. Like, wait a minute.
I don't see a hundreds over here.
I'm like, Dad, you got C's through school.
You just barely made it.
You just barely made some of these classes. What are you talking about?
I want better for you, dude.
Oh, that's exactly what he said. Right? I don't want you to make my mistakes.
Yeah.
But Mom was kind of the opposite. She was so much perfectionist. Everything had to be spotless and perfect. And so, when you're 5 and you're learning to make your bed, it's not going to be perfect. Sure. Well, Mom would go in after me and redo everything.
And by the way, by doing that, is she saying, I love you unconditionally and you're worthy and you're a whole and 100% complete within yourself? Or does that say, you're unworthy, you're not good enough, right?
Yeah. I could never live up to the standards of either one of my parents.
Correct.
And
so if you recognize that, that's a huge breakthrough right there. And I see you smiling right now and that's good, because what we want you to do is once you can start seeing, they're called scotomas, things that you can't see, but they're holding you in place. They're holding your OCD in place. They're holding your depression in place. They're holding your stuckness in place, right? Your isolation, all of that. But what you'll start seeing, and it's already starting to happen, I can kind of see in your eyes, right? It's already starting to, oh, okay. So, interestingly enough, that was your parents. And that was the way they chose to live.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But now, you have a choice to say, that's kind of crazy. A 98 and it's not good enough? My parents, they came from love and caring,
Mm-hmm.
but they went about it a way that's not good for me now.
Mm-hmm.
What happened, happened. It's in the past. It's
Right.
not even here
Doesn't
anymore.
matter.
Yeah.
But for me, for my quality of life, that's holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That's not good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So Elaine goes, and so once I coached her on, is that the light? Is that serving you?
Mm-hmm.
That angst and I gotta is that serving you? Is that the life that you want to create? Because we can create whatever we want. She goes,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Mm-hmm.
So what she did was we worked on breaking the habit. When you do that for 30 days, and that's all we're going to ask you to do is all this stuff that we're talking about, just it's going to take a little bit of conscious living
Mm-hmm.
and thinking. But once you do, after literally only 30 days, doesn't matter how long you've been in it,
Mm-hmm.
30 days is all it takes to change your whole habitual way of being.
Mhm.
People who are perfectionists, or they learn from
Mhm.
their dad, mom,
Both.
to both, to be a perfectionist, that's actually the lowest quality way of living in terms of measurement.
Mm-hmm.
Like the limbo stick, because it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectionism is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't exist.
We create it.
We create it.
Hey, I'm striving for it.
But what are you striving for? It doesn't exist.
I know.
There's no such thing.
But I'll get there eventually.
Have you gotten there in how many years?
No, 52.
52. So isn't that kind of crazy?
Mm-hmm.
We're playing a game. There's no
There's no
winner.
win.
No.
There's no winner. Like
No.
once I realized like there's no
Mhm.
winner. Like why am I playing this? I'm creating the rules
Yeah.
to a game that doesn't exist and there's no winner. Okay,
Mhm.
now how silly is that, Elaine?
And you're setting up the rules that on a game that you can never win.
Yes.
Yeah, let's.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound a little backwards?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a game, so make up the rules, right?
Well, make up the rules
That are
so
easier on
that
you.
you can win and enjoy the game.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the goal of life.
Well, that's what I
And
was
no one
telling
teaches us this.
That's what I tell the kids all the time. It's not whether you win or lose. It's having fun playing the game.
Yes.
Right.
How are you doing with living the game of life and enjoying it?
I mean, I'm a nervous wreck most of the time.
Right.
Right?
So, what would you like to be living?
I'd like to just be able to be myself and say to hell with everybody else and what they think.
And what's keeping you from doing that?
Because I'm afraid of what they think. That they'll think less of me.
Okay.
And there's
Yeah.
the perfection
Yeah.
again. Yeah.